just bear with me whilst I press record on my podcast software. This is all very exciting. I'm trying lots of new things this week. Right, let's press record. Okay, that is working nicely. Okay, so yes, I'm recording the podcast this week, so I do it on Facebook Live and I record it on Audacity on my computer. So it's a very complicated setup. I do Facebook Live on my phone and then I record using Audacity on my computer, and I've got a new mic sat in front of me that I had to buy for a very big job later this week. So this podcast should now sound crystal clear and good. So I'm sat in my, so this was my office, which is now going to be the 4th bedroom, which my son Jack is going to move into. Currently, I'm sat on the sofa bed, which is covered in Beanie Babies. We got a kangaroo. We got a butterfly. We've got a, well, Jack thinks that's a Komodo dragon. Or I need to open up the label to work out what it is. But yeah, we created a monkey habitat out of Beanie Babies last week for homework. So I'm currently sat in the middle of the monkey habitat. It's scaly. I love to lie, basking in the sun, living in the desert, sure it's fun. Climbing up cactus, avoiding a spike. I'm the beanie you're sure to like. I think that means it's a lizard. Yes, so that is where I record my podcast. So yes, back to what I'm going to talk about. This is episode 31. Hello, Carolyn. This is episode 31 of series 2. I looked at series 1 the other day, and I've got 51 episodes of series 1. So now I'm 31 episodes of series 2. So I'm up to 82 episodes of the podcast. It's a gorgeous sunny day. So as you can see, I'm in my bikini. I was just lying out in the garden until about 10 minutes ago. And I'm basically going to spend today in the pool. We have one of those 3-meter giant pools, $69.99 on Sports and Leisure UK. Good tip. Comes with a filter and everything. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. Later on this afternoon, we're going to go pick up a skateboard. That's the excitement for today. So I'm going to have a chat to you about Mental Health Awareness Week, which is this week. I'm sure you've seen it in the media and on the TV. I wrote a post that I published on Sunday that I want to talk to you a little bit about. I'm going to share a little bit about my spending diary from last week, which I published yesterday. And also I'm going to talk to you about a big Q&A I did for PensionBee last week, which I put out on YouTube on Sunday. And then I've got another one coming up later this week with Fidelity. The PensionBee Q&A was really, really great money-saving tips for people who are struggling money-wise at the moment. So I really want it shared around, people who have been 80% furloughed or people who have lost their income altogether. It's a great, great half-hour chat between Faith Archer and I, talking the best money-saving tips on every single bill you can think of. And then I'm doing an investment Q&A with Fidelity on Thursday on Instagram Live at 12 o'clock, where I should be with Tom Stevenson talking about investing in sort of Corona times. And I've had so many questions sent in that we'll be talking about there. So a bit of a plug for some sponsored work I've been doing. But yeah, let's start with mental health. So yeah, Mental Health Awareness Week. So it's a pretty big week in the UK, and it's building with momentum each year that goes by, which I love. I want everybody to be talking about mental health. The more we talk about it, then the more it's normalised, and mental health is no longer a shameful thing. We can just talk about how our heads are feeling as much as how I've broken my arm, or I've got a cold sore. I have got a cold sore. I've got ulcers on my tongue as well. I've got a cold sore and ulcers on my tongue. Like, how can that happen? Especially as I'm getting loads of sleep. It's stress. But yeah, I just want us all to talk about mental health and talk to each other. Because, so read my post that I put out on Sunday. It's a post about grief and loss. Now, it can be taken in, it can be sort of reflected on lots of different situations. So I lost my parents. I lost my mum when I was 16, and I lost my dad when I was 19. They both had heart attacks. So I've experienced the worst grief you can ever experience. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because yeah, grief is different for every person. But and in the past year, I've gone through a divorce, and the grief or the loss process is so similar, like going through a divorce compared to like the death of a person, because you've got the death of a person or you've got the death of a marriage, and that person who you thought you'd spend the rest of your life with isn't happening. So yeah, I did a little bit of research into, I mean, I've looked into the stages of grief and loss many times before. So there's a sorry, got waylaid there. There's a scientist, an emotional therapist called David Kessler in America, who sort of came up with the 5 stages of grief, and he's recently just come up with a 6th stage of grief and loss. And his 5 stages of grief are, so first stage is denial. So yeah, you just pretend nothing's happened. I think that stage lasted about a year after my mum died. I just completely pretended it didn't happen. But that stage that stage probably lasted for quite a long time with the separation as well, because these things don't just happen like in the past year. It was going on for longer than that. Stage 2 is anger, really stressful stage. Stage 3 is bargaining. So it's sort of thinking things like, oh, if only I'd got my mum to go to the doctors, like 6 months before she died, she would have been all right by now. It's that kind of thought process. Stage 4, so bargaining, it's all about if only, and it goes round in your head. Stage 4 is depression. And then stage 5, a bit more positive. Stage 5 is acceptance. And the interesting thing about those 5 stages is you can sort of go through them, and then you can, like, it's like a cycle. You can go back through them again and again and again. Even now, 27 years after my mum died, I can still go back into anger. I can still go back into depression. Absolutely. And it's very similar stages that you go through when you're going through a divorce. And also, oh, hi Jenna, she's watching. It's also similar stages you go through, your sort of close people around you go through as well. So it's really interesting to understand the stages, to sort of see where your children are in that stage, to see where they're going through, and that can help you understand some of their behaviours. So it's really handy if you, even if it's something like the family dog dies or the family cat dies, like I was talking to Dylan yesterday about the stages of grief, and I was like, just imagine how I'd feel if, say, Trev, my cat, died. Like, he went missing for 10 days last year, and I was an emotional wreck for like 10 days. Oh, that's just stopped. Start that again. There we go. I was an emotional wreck just because, like, I thought that my cat had died. So it's a really great 5 stages of grief tool to work with when you're going through difficult times. So yeah, it's in the post I've talked through sort of what stages I went through in the last year, because I can honestly look back at the last year and say it's been the worst year of my life. I'm not being over the top there. It's been absolutely awful. And my mental health really, really struggled. I was in anger and bargaining and depression for a lot of the past 12 months. I still am angry, and I still get depressed occasionally. And it's really hard to see that in your children as well, to see what stage they're at. But how I coped with it, because obviously I'm still here and I'm still talking about it, is I had this very close knit network of friends, 5 friends, who stuck by me through thick and thin. Like, I'd get a message from them every day, and they'd just like check in on me to make sure I was okay. And whenever there was like a really horrible episode at home, I'd be able to like phone them up and just talk about it. So yeah, those 5 friends, Becky, Marianne, Fran, Anita, and Neil were just amazing. So whenever they need any help, then I'm there for them. So yeah, they were just incredible, and they pulled me through it. So your friends are absolutely your rocks in these kind of situations, but don't spread the net too wide. don't talk to too many people, because yeah, I've experienced strange things over the past year. Friends you thought friends aren't friends. Let's leave it there. But yeah, so my friends got me through it. Unfortunately, I turned to emotional eating and an element of emotional spending as well. No, I did do a lot of emotional spending in the past year too. So I put on loads of weight. I put on about 2 stone between sort of September and March. And I've actually lost it all now since lockdown started, and since he left, I've just dropped the weight like that. It's like magic, as if he left. The weight just dropped. But yeah, I turned to food, and that's not the way to go. I stopped exercising because I hurt my shoulder, and my shoulder's like got so much better since I've restarted exercising and doing yoga again. And there are lots of other coping mechanisms. I've talked about writing. Oh my gosh, writing has been just my saviour. Journaling, and just, writing honest posts about things that have been happening. I haven't really written anything about, the separation until sort of now, because I just didn't think it was right to. But there is stuff I'm writing now, because like I just want other people that are going through the same thing to realise that there is like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you can get out of it. And my business, Mrs. Mummypenny, absolutely carried me through. I continued to go into London every week. I forced myself to do it, and have meetings with clients, and then like amazing things happened. Like, I agreed retainers. I've got an amazing set of clients who I have really good relationships with, who are kept me sane, and I was able to produce really good content for them and write really good stuff. So yeah, it was all a wonderful circle where and a lot of other people have like looked out for me as well. So I'm a very, not lucky, because it's not luck, isn't it? You make your own luck. I'm just very grateful to the people who have supported me through the past year, and I will repay it tenfold. So yeah, that's my mental health story for the past year. It's been hell on earth. But from March 2020, everything suddenly got a lot better. So on that note, spending diary and my last week. I've had a really good week. I've had a really positive week. I actually had 5 days to myself. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the time I have with my boys. They're all here, and they're all lying downstairs in the garden whilst I record this podcast. But I don't do much work when they're actually here, and then when they're not here, I do lots and lots of work. So it's working really, really well. But yeah, I had 5 days to myself. So we are allowed to socially distance see one friend. So I saw my friend Fran on Friday, and we had loads of cocktails, and we got really drunk. So that was really good fun. And I binged watched the whole of like White Lines on Netflix on Saturday. I watched the entire 10 episodes on Saturday. Absolutely loved it. Oh gosh, it's amazing. Like, if you're a child of the 90s who loves, who went to Ibiza and loves your raves and stuff, it's Really, really good. And I went to a garden centre, which is very exciting because they reopened on Wednesday. Found this lovely place called Van Stone in Codicott, which is about 5 or 6 kilometres away from where I live. And it's massive, and they've got chickens and geese and ducks, and they've got a lake, and they've got tons and tons of flowers, and the staff are really helpful as well. So I went there and I knew what plant I was looking for because a garden expert told me what plant I needed to get for my garden renovation. So I went and found the plants, and the guys at the garden centre told me exactly what I needed to do to plant those plants. I've got some compost, got a fork digger thing, and I've not actually done it yet, but it's all ready to put, plant in the garden. I've got a concrete post that I need to somehow get out of the ground, and every sort of day we're digging a little bit lower and trying to pull it out. It's a bit of a challenge, but the boys and I are trying to dig out this post. And then I've got like a nice sort of 6 metre by 2 metre new bit of soil that I'm going to plant Rose of Sharon in. Rose of Sharon grows to about 1 metre diameter, and it's a very hardy shrub that will handle being hit by a football. Good. And bright yellow flowers, like, it's very exciting. I can't wait. And oh yeah, no, Jenna, how bad is that? I've never been to Van Stone. I didn't even know it was there. I cycled past it on a bloody bike ride, and I was like, oh my god, it looks like a really cool garden centre with geese. Oh no, I've made my lip bleed. Oh, cold sore. So I got a Buddha as well, which is on my Instagram. I love my Buddha. £17. It's beautiful. It's in this little altar Buddha place. What else did I do? Oh, I spent money on my microphone. £65 though, which is really, really good. And I've tested it. The audio quality is crystal clear. So my podcasts are going to be like amazing. The microphones I was recommended to get, when I looked them up, they were like £130. Like, that's quite a lot for a microphone. So somebody else recommended this Snowball Ice. Jenna, you might be interested in this microphone actually for all your Instagram lives you're doing over on the Lash Social. Give you a little plug there. Yeah, I've got this Snowball Ice, and then I've got a pop screen that goes in front of it, which gets rid of all the the little noises you make as you talk, as audio quality is very important for podcasts. So yeah, that was my spending diary. So I had like the best week ever of lockdown, and I managed to spend the least amount out of the whole of lockdown. Spent very little on groceries and bills, but I did spend 100 quid at Van Stone. So yeah, a couple of plugs for some work I have done or I've got coming up. So the PensionBee Q&A, it's on my YouTube channel. It's the last video on there. It's a brilliant half hour to watch if you need any kind of guidance or help with any line in your budget. So Faith and I have gone through everything from mortgage and rent, council tax, electricity bills, water bills, telephone bills, broadband, insurance. We've talked about food shopping, and then we've talked about other costs. So, TV, entertainment, magazine subscriptions, Weight Watchers, contact lenses, gym memberships. We've gone through every sort of expense you can think of and suggested great ways to save money. And also, we've talked about specifically which companies will give you a bit of a payment break at the moment. So I've taken a mortgage holiday, and I've spoken to some of the other sort of providers who supply my house, and they would also give me a break, although I've only taken the mortgage holiday. But Octopus Energy will give you a payment break. EE will give you a payment break. Affinity Water will give you a payment break. Debt repayment and loan repayments, car loan payments, they will all give you a break at the moment. Yeah, catch up later, Jenna. Yeah, it's a really, really good video. So yeah, I've put it on my, it's linked on my social media, but it's on my YouTube channel. So if you search for Mrs. Mummy Penny, that's my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm nearly there. And then on Thursday, I'm doing a investment Q&A with Fidelity, so please tune in to Instagram Live at 12 on Thursday, where I'll be talking to Tom Stevenson, who is one of the country's leading investment experts. Like, I go to the top with the people I talk to on Mrs. Mummypenny, and he's really down to earth. And we've had some really great questions. So we'll be talking about things like, is now a good time to invest? How should I invest for my children? Or should I invest in my children's name, or should I invest in my own name? I'm too scared to invest, so what should I do? I'm really risk averse, so what should I do about investing? So it's going to be a really, really interesting Q&A. I've also had a couple of quite complex questions from Dave Megson Smith. Thanks, Dave. But Tom knows how to answer those questions. You'll be pleased to hear. So yeah, all the questions were sent in last weekend, so we'll be going through all of them on Thursday at 12 on my Instagram Live channel. Hence why I got the fancy microphone, because the audio needs to be really good quality. So yeah, that's it from me. 20 minutes, pretty bang on the money. Hope you enjoyed that. Go read my website and go look at that YouTube video in particular with Faith and I. It's really, really good, and we're funny. Like, I'm not taking the mick there. Like, we're really good friends, so it is just like a chat between friends, but we're really good friends who know personal finance inside out, and we know each other's spending diaries inside out, because we did a comparison of our spending diaries in when lockdown started. So yeah, I know how much Faith spends on groceries, and she knows how much I spend on wine and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really good fun. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again on Thursday for the Fidelity Q&A, or next week for my Mrs. Mummypenny Talks. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.